that.
Thank you. The question is that this motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Deakin.
Thanks very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm really pleased to be able to stand here today in support of the motion and congratulate everybody involved with Schoctober, in particular the Cardiac Arrest Survival Foundation, for their work with Defibrillator Awareness Month. One of the reasons I've chosen to speak on this topic today is I am actually living proof of somebody who is only here today because of an automatic external defibrillator. And as some other members have spoken about earlier, it can hit in the most unusual circumstances. In my case, as a 26-year-old playing basketball, feeling as though I was fit and healthy and quite frankly invincible. After suffering a cardiac arrest on the basketball court and not breathing for 7 minutes, I'm only standing here today because a paramedic was deployed very quickly and was able to restart my heart, and that paramedic's name is Andrew Burns, and this is probably the first time in Parliament I've been able to thank him because without him and his expertise I would not be standing here today. But the more important and bigger issue is how we can ensure AEDs are basically in every community organisation, every workplace, to give the best chance possible to those people who will inevitably suffer cardiac arrests at times that are completely unexpected. And that's why I want to lend my support to the Cardiac Arrest Survival Foundation and all the work that they've done with Schoctober. I also think there's a big role to play for government here, and I'm certainly advocating from the government side, and I'd like to think we could do it in a bipartisan fashion, to see if we can encourage more government funding to get automatic external defibrillators in as many community organisations as possible. Now, as somebody who is a survivor and is only alive because of an AED, I do get lots of stories that come to my office from people who have, in the great examples, who are like me, have gone on to live very happy and successful lives. Unfortunately, I also get the tragic stories as well. And the tragic stories of, and what is very common and what I hear a lot, is the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old playing sport of some description, just like I was, thinking they were healthy and invincible, and the tragedy that befalls their families when they die on a football field or a cricket field or out running or some form of exercise. Just how tragic it is for those families breaks my heart, and that's why it's incumbent on all political parties in a bipartisan way to work out ways that we can get even more funding and even more support for every organisation to have an AED on the wall. And every time I walk into a clubhouse, I must say, and pardon the pun, it warms my heart when I see the AED sitting on the wall, because I do appreciate that without that sitting there, so many young people in particular would be at danger. So all I would say is there is a strong commitment from me and all of my colleagues to ensure that we make some heavy strides in this direction over the next 2 years. And I do commend state governments who are seeking to do the same thing. And in my home state of Victoria, both the government and opposition certainly do have programs to fund AEDs for various community groups. And I think there's a role there for the federal government to leverage that, to make it even bigger, and to ensure that, in particular, every workplace has got it. And importantly, not only that every workplace has an AED, but that they have somebody at all times who is trained to use it, because it's something that is so simple, and it is the difference, literally, between life and death for so many people. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a very, very small cost to government for benefits that are so important for our society, and ultimately that have economic benefits down the track, because as I am proof positive, you can go on to live a very active, busy and productive life. So I commend the motion and I thank speakers for doing so in a bipartisan fashion.
Yes, I thank